Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to play detective, and our subject is something you probably see all the time, a simple piece of iron. But, don't let its ordinary looks fool you. This chunk of metal actually holds the key to understanding two really fundamental ways we describe, well, pretty much everything in the universe. So, let's get right into our investigation. So, to kick things off, let's start with a really simple question. Imagine you've got a piece of iron right here in your hand. How would you describe it? What words pop into your head? Just take a second and think about it. Okay, so the first set of clues we can gather are the obvious ones, the things you can pick up on with your senses. What do you see? What does it feel like? These are what we call observable properties, and they're the first pieces of evidence we can collect in our case. I bet you came up with things like, well, it's shiny, right? It feels hard. You could weigh it and find out it has a certain mass, or maybe even figure out its density. And these are all perfect observations. They're direct descriptions of the iron just as it is. So what you've just been listing off are what scientists call physical properties. And the key here, the most important part, is that you can observe or measure all of these things without actually changing what the iron is. You can check how hard it is, you can admire its shine, but when you're done, it's still iron. Its basic identity hasn't changed one bit.
And this idea, it applies to so much more. Things like color, size, mass, density, even its melting point. I mean, you can take a block of iron and melt it down into a liquid, but when it cools off and becomes solid again, guess what? It's still iron. Its identity is totally intact. These are all physical properties.
But that's really only half the story, isn't it? The most obvious clues are not always the most revealing ones. Iron has this whole other side to it, a kind of hidden identity that you can't see just by looking at it.
You see, the real mystery of iron isn't just about what it is sitting here right now. It's about what it has the potential to do. It's about the transformations it's capable of and the new things it can become.
And what is that big secret? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. If you leave a piece of iron out in the rain, it rusts. And that reddish-brown, flaky stuff, that's not iron anymore. It's a completely new substance called iron oxide. The iron has fundamentally changed. This leads us straight to our second type of clue, the chemical property. Now, unlike a physical property that just describes a substance as it is, a chemical property is all about its potential. It's a clue that tells us what a substance can become if it interacts with something else. Rusting is the perfect example of this, right? It describes iron's ability to react with oxygen. Another classic example is flammability. Think about a piece of wood. Its ability to burn and turn into ash and smoke, that's a chemical property. It's all about the potential to change into something new. So, here it is, the solution to our case, laid out plain and simple. A physical property tells you what a substance is, its color, its hardness, its density. A chemical property, on the other hand, tells you what a substance can do, its potential to rust or burn or react. It's kind of like the difference between a snapshot and a weather forecast. All right, detective, it's your turn. We're going to put this new knowledge of yours to the test with a quick little sorting challenge. You think you're ready? Let's do it.
Okay, let's look at our clues. First up, shiny. Is that what something is or what it can do? Well, it's a description of how it looks right now, so that's physical. Next, flammable. This describes its ability to burn and change, so that's definitely chemical. What about hard? Well, that's a trait you can measure about its current state, right? So that's physical. And finally, reacts with oxygen. That's the very definition of what causes rust, the potential to change. That's a chemical property. Excellent work.
So let's just recap what we found. The crucial point is this. A physical property is basically a description, like what you'd read in a report. A chemical property, though, is all about potential. It's what could happen. One is a statement of fact, and the other is a forecast. So, we've sorted our clues, we've got a clear difference between these two kinds of properties, but I want to leave you with one final question, something to really get you thinking about this whole thing. Think about that for a second. Is the act of rusting itself a property, or is it the result of a property? Is it the potential, or is it the action? See, the ability to rust, that's the chemical property. The process of rusting, the thing that's actually happening, that's the chemical change. It's a subtle difference for sure, but it's a super important one. It's what separates what something can do from what it's doing right now. And that's a clue that helps us understand our world on a much, much deeper level.